Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing really well and welcome back to my podcast, Life of an Artrepreneur. So today I'm going to dive into a topic that can feel quite intimidating for a lot of creatives, which is putting yourself in front of the camera. Whether you're an artist or any kind of creative person, showing your face to the world can feel quite scary and can feel like a huge leap, especially if you've never done anything like that before, sort of put yourself at the front of your business. But it can completely transform your confidence, your connection with your audience, and the overall growth of your creative business. So it's definitely worth doing and definitely worth sort of pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. So let's start with confidence. So the first time you hit record, it might feel really unnatural, really awkward, really kind of uncomfortable. And you're almost sort of hyper aware of like your voice, what you look like, your surroundings, your background, like your facial expressions. But it all kind of stems from the fact that you're being seen. But like anything else, the more that you do it, the easier it does get. Over time, showing up on camera helps you to feel kind of more comfortable in your own skin, and you learn to communicate with more clarity and presence. And I feel like that sense of self-assurance doesn't just stay online. It kind of spills into your everyday life. Like you feel more confident every day. You feel more confident in your artwork, in talking about your artwork, and in taking more risks. So it kind of transcends into that, which I think is an overall good thing, obviously. So I'm going to really expose myself now and share with you a snippet from one of the first ever videos that I filmed, which was for Patreon. I think it was for like a materials video on Patreon, literally one of the first ever videos I put on there sort of 4 or 5 years ago now. And if you're thinking, why is it such horrendous quality? It's because I had a Snapchat filter on it, on like the selfie thing of my iPhone camera, because I was so nervous. I was overanalyzing every part of my face. I was like, oh no, I can't put myself on camera looking like this. So I'd put a Snapchat filter on it, of all things. And it is so kind of daunting and overwhelming, especially your first few videos, because you think, God, I don't know how to like act. I don't know how to speak to an actual camera. It's just me and the camera in the room. But it's a weird kind of feeling to get over. You don't feel like you're talking to an audience at first. You just feel like you're being silly and just talking into your phone camera, which you kind of are, but you need to imagine that you're talking to your audience. So yeah, looking back on this clip, you can definitely see how the nerves are clear as day. And in comparison to now, where I've been talking on camera every single week for the past like 4 or 5 years from that very first video, you can tell massively the difference. So yeah, enjoy. Firstly, can I just say thank you so much if you've subscribed to my Patreon. This is the first month that I've done it, so yeah, it's been a lot of hard work, but I really enjoyed it. I'd love to carry on with it. As you can probably tell, I am not used to speaking in front of a camera. I'm cringing at myself so much, but I thought I would show you the materials that I use and a bit of my studio. Now at the minute it's a complete mess, so maybe I'll leave the studio tour for another day. But yeah, I'm going to show you all the materials that I use and how I use them, and hopefully it'll help some of you. I've also got a filter on this because no one wants to see my face in HD. So my studio is in the small bedroom of my parents' house. We decorated it, I think, the start of this year, just after Christmas. And before that, I used to work at the kitchen table, which wasn't ideal. So it's much better working in here, and it's like your own space. It's basically like an office, isn't it? So yeah, absolutely horrendous and probably not cringe for you, but incredibly cringe for me. I found that the other week. I was like, sure, I can make this into a video and show that, you know, you're not just going to be natural and confident straight away on camera. It does take a lot of practice and a lot of doing it over and over and over again till you get to a point where you eventually just flow better and come across more confident. So that's the whole point of this video, really, to kind of encourage you to do that. And if your videos initially end up like you've just watched, then don't worry, because that was literally me 4 years ago. And sometimes I'll see artists posting a story and you can tell that they're really nervous, and I feel like just doing a little reaction to it or saying love this video, it just gives them a bit of encouragement. I feel like the whole artist community generally are kind of rooting for each other, and I think if you can get over that fear of talking on camera, it'll unlock so many more opportunities for you. So let's talk about your audience. People don't just connect with your art, they actually connect with you. So when your audience sees your face and hears your voice and gets that like glimpse of your personality, they feel like they know you. And I feel like it builds like trust and loyalty that sort of static posts and reels and just images and text can't. So think about your favourite creators, not necessarily artists. I've got quite a few like just lifestyle vloggers that I watch on YouTube quite regularly. And if I walked down the street and saw them, I'd feel like I could go up to them and be like, hi, because I've watched so many hours of their content. I feel like I know them and the personality. You pick up on like the quirks and the laugh and their way of explaining things or talking about things. You resonate with the stories. And that's the power of showing up on camera. It turns your followers into like a real community. And people really want to know the artist behind the artwork. They want to connect with you. And I feel like the more that they feel like they know you, the more that they're likely to invest in your artwork and kind of follow along your whole journey. If you're like me 4 years ago in that clip that I've just showed, like really not confident at all, a little bit nervous, and that kind of comes across on camera, people who have followed you for a while or maybe are new to following you on Instagram or whatever, people like following a journey and like to be there right from the start and kind of seeing how you grow and what direction you kind of take. So I feel like being open and sharing what you can and getting your audience kind of involved, inviting them into your sort of world, it really helps that growth and that kind of engagement and connection with your audience. You kind of unlock like a whole new audience that's not just interested in pictures of your artwork, but also interested in what you're up to and seeing behind the scenes, and they can kind of resonate with that. So here's the exciting part. So whilst it's not kind of essential for you to show yourself on camera, actually being on camera can massively accelerate the growth of your business. And if you think about it, like platforms like Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, they all favor content with that human element. And I found it in the past, like reels where I'm actually in it, like working on the studio or showing my artwork, or even if my hand's in it at some point, those videos always tend to do better than just sort of a static post or just a video reel of the drawing process. Like it's a bit of both. It's like the artist and the artwork kind of intertwined into one video. So videos featuring you talking about your process, sharing behind the scenes moments in your studio, or, you know, what you get up to on a weekend, going for a walk, like showing little bits of lifestyle as well. Or even just having voiceovers in your video, kind of explaining your whole process and almost narrating what you're doing. That type of content can reach audiences that you never thought was possible. So I guess it's about like visibility. People are more likely to share and comment and like the video and engage with it if they feel that kind of human connection. For me, I started YouTube around 4 or 5 years ago. It seems to have gone really, really quick. But it was around the same time as I started my Patreon, so around 4 or 5 years ago. And I wouldn't post regularly. I thought it's going to take me forever to grow, so I kind of neglected it for a year or so. And whenever I did post, it would be just like a drawing process video, sort of 5 minutes long. Didn't really put that much effort into it. There was no voiceovers. It would literally just be sort of the drawing process with music. And yes, that might be nice to have on in the background as a bit of like something to watch that you're not really watching, but it's not a very engaging video. It gives no context into who I am as the artist. There's no like connection there really with the viewer and with me. So for me, I noticed that kind of huge shift with interaction and engagement and growth of my overall channel when I started showing myself on camera more, uploading more regularly, inviting my audience in to see some of those behind the scenes of like me working in the studio or lifestyle, mixed with a bit of value like these podcast episodes, and obviously a lot of drawing and art kind of weaved into that as well through like my artist vlogs. And I think allowing people to see your personality on screen, people really feel like they know you. There's been instances over the past maybe like year and a half, I'd say, where I've been at wildlife exhibitions like the David Shepherd Wildlife Artist of the Year exhibition that I went to last month, and the Sketch for Survival exhibition that I went to in November last year, so that's almost a year ago. And I'll have people come up to me and be like, oh hi, I watch your YouTube videos, or I love your content, or I love the work that you submitted. And I'm like, how do you know what I've submitted? Well, it's because I post so much online all the time that they feel like they know me, and they kind of connect the artwork with my face, if that makes sense, because I'm constantly on the camera. And it's such a bizarre feeling. Like, it's really, really weird if you think about it. But when you put yourself out there so much, I guess that's what's going to happen. Like, people might have watched hours and hours and hours of my content. Like, I've literally done 73 or 74 episodes of my podcast now. So say if on average every episode is like 20 minutes, then I can't do the maths, but if someone can do the maths, that's a lot of hours consumed, along with like my artist vlogs that tend to be like 45 minutes long, sort of one every month. Yeah, it's quite a lot, plus like all the short form content. So people do really feel like they know you the more that you put yourself out there. So I guess it's not that weird for them. Like, when they kind of see me at an exhibition, they feel like they can come up to me and maybe I feel like a familiar face because I'm constantly on the screen. And I do love that, but also it's still so weird to me because I feel like I'm still kind of back in my home studio talking to my camera for the first time. It's just me and my phone in the room. Sometimes it still does feel like that, because that is what is happening right now. But I'm also now talking to an audience at the same time. Like, sometimes you can forget the reach that you can actually have through sharing content online. It's crazy. So just to be clear, putting yourself on camera is not a requirement. You don't have to. You can absolutely grow as an artist without ever showing your face. What matters most, I guess, is you being creative, constantly resonating with your own artwork and having that confidence to kind of even just post your artwork. People, you know, it takes them years to actually pluck up the courage to post a picture of the artwork because they don't have the confidence in it. And that's way before even showing them themselves on camera. So I think maybe start there. And if you're open to it, being on camera is like a tool. Being on camera is like a powerful tool that can amplify everything that you're already doing. It's just about choosing whether that tool fits your personality and your goals and your overall sort of brand as an artist. So if you felt a bit on the fence, then consider this episode like a gentle nudge. I've just got a cat that's jumped on my knee. Hello. You don't have to be perfect first time. It will take a long time to build up that confidence. And you also don't need any fancy equipment or like a rehearsal script. Sometimes notes do help. You kind of remember everything that you want to say, but I also think you come across a bit more authentic when you just sort of talk about what's coming into your head at that time and it's not too structured. And maybe start small. You don't want to do a full like half an hour talking video on YouTube as your first ever thing, but maybe just post like a short story or like a time lapse of your work but with a short intro at the start, or just like a super casual update to your followers about, you know, what you're working on that day or that week. And over time, those smaller steps can kind of add up to that overall growth, and not just for your business but also for your confidence. As you've seen in that previous clip, I was terrified of putting myself on camera, but honestly, the more you do it, the more you just don't care about everything that you used to worry about. And I think if you come across as confident on camera, your viewers will be more kind of relaxed when they watch you as well. You'll come across as more trustworthy and more authentic. So go for it. And I feel like all the other artists will be kind of rooting for you as well. So yeah, hope that episode has given you a bit of encouragement if you have been a bit on the fence as to whether to start showing yourself on camera or not. And I hope you enjoyed that horrendous video of me like 4 years ago. That was my first ever thing that I filmed. So yeah, thank you for watching, and as usual, if you enjoyed the episode, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to see more art related content, future episodes and future artist vlogs. And if you've been listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, I'd love it if you could leave a review, share it with someone who you think it might help. And yeah, I'll be back next week with a brand new episode.